Welcome back to Everyday Garage, and as you guys can see, I'm not in the garage today. We're back working on this 1962 Dodge D300. In the last video, I got this thing fired up after 30-something years. Woo! It's hard to say when it was actually running last because I don't have a title or paperwork or anything actually useful on this thing. I need to start working on that. But what I want to do in this video is actually get this thing driving because I kind of started getting it moving in the last video. But I want to get it driving down the road in this one, actually stopping because it has no brakes, maybe make sure the clutch and go down and fix all the stuff kind of wrong with it because I want to put this thing to work. I've been kind of working on my back property back here, kind of taming the wild is what it is. I bought about an acre back here, but it has never been actually landscaped or anything, so I want to be able to store more cars essentially. Develop my own little junkyard is what I'm doing, but I want to be able to grab some dirt and gravel and everything else with this dump bed, you know, because that's kind of what I got it for. So let's jump in and finally get this thing back on the road. Now to start this off, I think what I'm gonna do, ooh, I left a battery in here. Hopefully that's not dead. What I want to do is actually get this thing running or starting on the key. So before I had it hot wired, the coil was hot wired, I had to use a starter switch, all kinds of stuff. I want to go through and actually get this thing, you know, fired up on the key before I kind of move forward with, you know, brakes and everything else. It's probably going to be a pain in the butt. All right, first thing I need to do is come out and swap this starter relay out. And not drop anything. Because if you remember in the last video, or if you haven't seen it, the moment I hooked up the battery to this thing, it immediately turned over the starter, so I had to bypass it. Come on. If you believe it or not, AutoZone actually had one in stock. Where is it? Exact replacement. It is part number 16115. Because I had forgotten to buy one online, and I thought, oh, I'm going to be screwed, but nope. I actually had one. All right, let me get this thing swapped in. All right, it's installed, but it's not an exact replacement. For some reason, the stud for the battery terminal is metric, which makes no sense, but that's what it is. And then also, so it has an additional prong there. I'm guessing that's for ground because it has G on it. This one doesn't have that, as you can see. So I don't know if it needs to have an additional ground or not, but I will say with everything hooked up now, if I hook the battery up, it doesn't immediately kick the starter on. So I'm gonna call that a win. And if I can say, holy crud, the mouse poop that has accumulated since I last touched this thing is insane. I literally parked this here about a month ago. What? They have just been living under here like crazy. Another reason to get this old thing back on the road so it doesn't just turn into a giant mouse house. All right, that's done, so ignition. And in here, yeah, the spiders have claimed the interior. So we've got cobwebs everywhere. Can't leave anything sitting for any time. So I have a new ignition switch, mainly because I needed a key. Plus, I thought one of the tabs had broken off, because if you see here, this tab is broken. If you actually look at it, it looks like all the tabs are there. So hopefully the wiring isn't too beat up, although you can already see multiple splices in. So we'll see how the wiring is. I'm going to go ahead and swap this out and, yeah, see if it works. All right, there it is, all hooked up. I don't have a nut to put it in there. Hopefully it's somewhere in this stuff, but I went to turn the key and nothing happened. So I came all the way over here and just like the ground I was talking about, I just ran this wire that I had laying here. It's not even clipped on right, out to the neutral side, negative side, that side. And look what we got. Hold on, let me put you down. Turns on the key now. So that was an easy win, and I didn't even have to actually, you know, trace wiring. At least not yet. I have to go see if the coil's going to be hot and everything. But I did rummage through this right now, and I found this. So I'll get that thrown in so it can actually be in the right place. There it is, all installed. Went in pretty easy. The only downside is one of these wires, which looks like it goes to maybe the brake switch. I don't know. It needs to be extended. It didn't reach all the way to where the ignition switch goes, but there we go. This thing's coming along. Now over here, see if we actually have power to the coil. And let's ground it. Let's say the alternator should be good. Key is on, by the way. No. Let's try grounding to the battery. Maybe it's not a good ground. No power? Really? Dang it. Okay, that figures. So the wiring comes up through here, runs along the wall. I got the ballast resistor over there, so let's see if we got power. All right, I'll set this here. See if you guys can see it. Can you see it? Maybe. Let's see, do we have power? All right, go straight to the battery to make sure we have a good ground. And this is coming from the key. Anything? No, we got nothing. Dang it, that means it's on that side of stuff. All right. Okay, I went under there and jiggled some wires under the dash, and I think we got power now. So ground, which is the alternator, and then there we go. 6, 7 volts, and that's because it's coming out of the ballast, so it's gonna be reduced. So the ignition is hot. So theoretically, a little bit of fuel and be able to fire it. We already know this engine runs. So what I wanna try to do is let's get the fuel system going so I can just turn the key and this thing actually fires and runs on its own. But I think from the last video, the fuel pump is bad. Upside, I have been hiding a ton of parts for this thing for way longer than I'd like to admit. So I get to go through all that and find a fuel pump. Okay, I went ahead and popped off the old fuel pump because you have to crawl underneath the truck, and then I needed swivel adapters and all. It's fun to get to is what I'm trying to say. So that's out. It looks to be, it's identical. So I think I should be good to go. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and throw that in. Like I said, it's all up underneath there and it's really hard to see, so it's no fun. Just 2 bolts, so let me get that back in. Came with gaskets, so we should be good to go. And we can finally see if I can pump some fuel. Okay, fuel pump is installed, and I went ahead and hooked up the line. I'm guessing it's from the tank. I haven't traced it back yet. And then this is over to the carb. Now this actually needs to be replaced, but I'm gonna leave it open so I can see if this thing is actually running. But what I forgot is that I actually can't get into the gas tank because this isn't the right key and this doesn't want to come off. So let's try to get that, some access. So last time I tried like heck to get that. I'm just gonna, pry it. Let's see, can I just, nope. You're stuck in there. It's like right there too. And it does turn, so it's like drilling it out wouldn't make a difference, would it? Come on. All right, that wasn't working, so we'll drill it out. Okay, I drilled it out and it did absolutely nothing. It still won't turn on me. But I was able to get the last part out, well, the bottom part out. The top part is the only one. It's got like a little lock tab in there. It's holding it in. See if I can push it down. See, as you can tell, I've also ripped this part off. I've been prying a little bit. The GoPro died because it was kind of hot, because it's kind of a hot day out. So, like, comment, and subscribe so I can get better cameras. There we go. If you want to see what I'm looking at, it's this piece here. That little tab in there needs to come out past that lip, just like this one is. And then that'll be able to pop out. But come on. There we go. All else fails, hit it with a hammer. There we go. Cobwebs. It actually just smells moldy in there. That's probably not a good sign. I don't know if you'll be able to see, but I can kind of with the light. It's mainly just dust. And it smells really moldy, so we'll put some gas down there and probably have to put a fuel filter so all this stuff doesn't get to the fuel pump I just put in, but I realized I don't have one of those. Let's put some gas in and see what happens. All right, that should just about do it. It's supposed to be 5 gallons in here, but I probably only like 3 because I use this up all the time. Should be enough to get started. I'm gonna need another gas cap. And then back over here, what I did end up doing was go ahead and put in a fuel filter. This is one of those glass ones that everyone thinks is just gonna burn your rig down instantly. It does leak, just keep an eye on it. I will switch this out later, but it's all I had. And I wanna make sure that whatever comes from the tank isn't gonna destroy our new fuel pump. And then since it's glass and I can see the fuel moving, I went ahead and just replaced this line too. So it's actually all hooked up. Now hopefully there's a little bit of gas left in here so I can get this thing started. Let's see, anything that I put, oh, there we go. Well, it started off the key. Let's see if I can actually get it staying running. But as you guys already saw, we got fuel in there. And it actually does not look that bad. That is fantastic news. Okay, I'll bring you guys in here with me. Let's see if we can get this thing started. A couple pumps. All right, let's give it a little bit of fuel, and all I have left is some carb cleaner. All right, round 2, 3. Come on. Really? Didn't even start on the carb cleaner? What happened now? We're dead? It's fighting me. Okay, the ground wire came off. Let's try again. All right, let's try that again. All right. Come on. There we go. There it is. It's idling now. Fuel gauge still reads empty, so I don't know if that thing's gonna work. Pulling fuel, and it still looks really good. And it sounds so awesome and quiet. Okay, I've let it run for a while. I just want to get some heat into it, but check it out. Our temp gauge is actually working. See that? I'll show you. It's coming up. So slowly but surely. So that's actually working. Our amp gauge might actually be working too, because that's been moving. Now that I have the lights on, lights off, lights on. So the amp gauge works. I'm curious if this is going to work. We'll have to get some gas in it. And yeah, we already know that this one is destroyed for the oil. Definitely curious to get that on there. So I think I'm definitely going to have to get an auxiliary oil gauge, because it'd be nice to know what it actually is. But it revs really nice. Bit shaky. Probably could use a carb rebuild, but it's still running smooth now. And then turn it off. A little bit of help, but right back on. At least it starts from the key now. Now I was spitting out some coolant from over here, so maybe I had too much in there. It is kind of hot, and you can see it's all down in there too, so hopefully I'll just leave that there. Oh, it wasn't even on tight, that's why. So there we go. That's the problem. Should be good now. With that, it's time to jump on the brakes, because now that it drives, it'd be nice if it actually stopped. Like you see here, this tire's here. I actually had them lined up in front when I first drove it in here, because, you know, I had no brakes. So in case the clutch, you know, didn't work out well for me, I had that to stop me. It actually worked out pretty good. So let's go ahead and, I think I have wheel cylinders and a couple other things. So let's jump in and see if I have enough to rebuild at least the front brakes. All right, I'm up on jack stands, and I'm gonna start on the driver's side, mainly because this is where the shade is right now. It's hot out today. So this is left-hand threads. So all of the studs are actually gonna have an L on them because they're original. So it's a good way to know too. Plus, you know, Mopar back in the early 60s. Plus is 1 1/16. So righty loosey. There we go. All right, there we go. I actually put these studs on when I first picked up the truck, because you guys remember from the first video, I talked about this thing was just on rims. So I actually had to take the rims off to get tires for it. But this will be the first time actually taking a look at the brakes. Do I have rubber hoses? Gosh, I hope so. So I have actually no idea how this comes off, but I'm guessing, yeah, gotta take this bad boy out. Man, this is a this is a good truck. Everything just comes off and works. There we go. Oh man, it's brand new in here. Well, would you look at that? I'd say everything in here is brand new. I mean, I think there's still paint right here. There's just some oxidization on some of the newer parts, but look at the pads. This is never even, I think someone just put this back together and threw the drum on, and that was it. The drum is actually in really good shape. It is grooved. It could use being turned, but look, no rust, no anything. That just really goes with the story that I kind of had that I talked about in the last video. So I bought this from a guy that simply just got it off of property. An older gentleman had pulled it into his barn decades ago to restore it, and just worked on it a little bit over the years till he got sick and unfortunately passed away. But man, this is awesome. I don't even think I need to touch this at all. Maybe some new rubber hoses because of age, but that's it. The wheel cylinders could leak. Maybe I should switch those out. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go check all the others, and we'll see how it all looks. And the same thing on this side. Everything is brand new, nice shoes. Just looks awesome inside. I'd say that this actual drum is even in better shape. Just a little bit grooved. Maybe I can get these turned, but these brakes are awesome. Now, what I want to do is probably just go ahead and replace hoses and wheel cylinders anyways, because they have seals that are rubber, and rubber doesn't last forever, but of course I ordered the wrong thing. So I have two right sides, as you can see where the bleeders are up. So we'll just replace that on this side and then the hoses on both sides and hope the other one doesn't leak. Also, I forgot I have something else I have to do, you know? It's been a while since I've been on this truck and I forgot one of the major issues of this thing. From the last video, the tie rod is broken. I've got duct tape and what are these? Vice grips holding it together right now. So we're gonna have to figure out that too. Now I do have tie rod ends. You cannot get a tie rod for this thing for the life of you, but I did end up with a universal one. So we'll go ahead and take care of that. But first, let's jump in on brakes. Now drum brakes are super simple, just take forever. I have one of these cool Matco tool things. This is not mine. My uncle gave it to me. Told me to use it. They said they help. Just rotate. No, rotate. There it is. Well, that's kind of nice. Normally I just use needle nose pliers. You do not have to have this tool. It's just, you know, nifty things. Come on. There we go. There we go. Pretty straightforward. I already had the wobble extension out, so this is kind of works out nicely. There we go. Come on. Oh, that's on there. Now normally I just take the hose off the back of this, but since we're replacing the hose, oh, am I gonna have to come back here and get that line? I am, dang it. I gotta support the line from the back. Let's see what I'm looking at. Oh yeah, I'll have to undo it from that side. I don't know if you're able to see anything, because it's like right there. It's hard to see. It's got a nut on it. Stupid way of doing it, but now I gotta take that nut out. That's what I think I could do. Come on. Well, this thing's, it's beating me up. It's kicking my butt. So, this here is completely stripped out now, so I can't do anything about that. And that is essentially welded in there, that nut. I don't know if you guys can see it right there. So what I'm gonna have to do is, you know, cut it out. All else fails, a wire wheel takes care of it. Not a wire wheel, a cutoff wheel. You know what I'm saying. There we go. Okay, finally it's out. And it is like welded on there. So that's pretty much gone. Downside is I need that nut. I do have a replacement, obviously way thicker than this one. So I may put an order in, but it does fit on. It's actually a 1/2 inch fine thread, which I happen to have because the 53 is fine thread everything. So I bought a fine thread box. So it should fit okay. And it actually has some thread showing through. Depends once I get it through the frame. But I'm actually glad that I changed this out because the way that's welded on, everything else is probably brand new, but they didn't change these out. You can actually see it's pretty choked up inside. So that needed to be gone through anyways. But check this thing out. Made in the USA, so it's definitely old, but so clean on the inside. So even though we don't have a replacement for the passenger side, I'm pretty confident about it. I may even hold on to this. Be a good builder. Rubber lines in and back over there. I got the hard line already into it too. I just got to get our thing in. Where is screws? I'm realizing I probably should have connected this first because I can't turn this. So let me actually... Oh, tell me I don't have to take that all apart because I put it in wrong. I'll get back to you. All right, everything is in. I got this in there and there's a copper washer in there. Everything's hooked up. I got that in with the hard line already going in. So I did everything, you know, 6,000, 7,000 times. It's okay. Now I'm an expert. So what we're gonna do now is just toss everything back together. So you gotta reuse this. This thing just, you know, goes in here. The rubber back on here. Now just, how does it go back together? I think something like this. Big shoe in the back, front, and yeah, something like that. Come on, there it is. I think I bent the spring a little bit, damn it. And then slam this bad boy back on and line it up with one of these. There it is. There we go. Okay, that's in. And then this here, I actually thought I was gonna have to really use a nut. I think it's got a special nut for this to come off. Just check the wheel bearings. But oh yeah, it's nice and greased up. I'm just gonna leave that the way it is. Like I said, I really think someone already went through all this. So I think it's just old grease, but we'll be good to go. Okay, jumped over here and already took care of the passenger side, and since there's no wheel cylinder we're doing, that's fine. Also, I went ahead and just knocked out the rear hose too, so that on the back is already done. And to check out, I got them bringing in some more concrete and dirt, so it's definitely gonna be graded out soon. Super excited for that to happen. Now, all that needs to happen is I need to come over here and finally get this tie rod situation, because well, this is up in the air and I can't really drive it. Even this thing does break, I won't be able to drive it without a tie rod, because I won't be able to steer anything. So it's time to just pop these two out, and I think I have a replacement for it. All right, I just need to come in here and bust this cotter pin out. Let's see if it'll come out. If not, I'm just gonna cut it and then, there we go, it's actually coming. There we go. Then a little pickle fork action should just pop this right out. Oops. Oh, I broke it. That sucks. At least it came out. Well, that was the only one I had. I already got the nut off here, so I'm just gonna see if I can, oh, solve its own problem. Now I have it all laid out. As you can see, it's pretty bent up over here, and this is where the brake is. It's using that duct tape. It actually worked pretty well. And then it's bent over here. I'm not sure if that's factory. I couldn't find a picture of a factory D300 one. Now, I searched everywhere for one, you just can't find them. They don't make them available. So what I have here is the best option I can find. This is Speedway's universal tie rod, and it's not nearly as thick, but it'll get the job done for now. And you just order a length. I think it's 30 bucks shipped to your door, so I took it. And these are actually the factory ones. I just matched the thread. I think it's 11/16, the factory one for here. But like I said, these are bent up. I don't think that is factory. I think whatever broke this, the hit or whatever, bent this out. I'm guessing, or I'm hoping, because I don't. This isn't bent, and I don't have clearance for it. So what I'm gonna do is, if I got the threads right, yes, no, does it go this way? I thread these on, and then get, you know, stick this where it broke off. Try to get the best measurement I can, and then we'll see. You know, it's gonna need an alignment after this, but it's gonna. I just want to get it in the ballpark. So let's get these edges on. Did I get the sides right? Yeah, there we go. Oh, I have jam nuts for this, but where did I put the jam nuts? Okay, well, I've searched everywhere, all through the shed, all the parts areas. I seem to have lost the jam nuts, which really sucks, because that means I can't move forward on this, because why I need jam nuts is, it shows better over here. This uses the clamp style. So you just screw this in, you clamp it in, and that'll lock this tie rod end in. But because I had to switch to this universal style, it uses a jam nut. You kind of just thread where you need to, and you jam a nut against it. So if I throw that in there now, sure, it'll be able to drive for like 4 miles, but it'll start self-adjusting. And why throw that in? I may be able to do a quick test drive, but then I'll have to pop it all back out and just put the jam nuts in. So I'm just gonna leave it off for now. I have to put an order for it. Unfortunately, no one has it. Speedway is the only one that has it. No, O'Reilly's, nothing has it right now. So Speedway can get it to me here in a couple days, which I wanted this done way before that, but that's just the way this goes. So I'll just keep jamming on other stuff. It's already getting kind of late, so let's just get on to other things that need to get done. All right, jumping into the next stuff that I want to start getting done. I actually have another set of shocks for this thing, just because, you know, if you can tell, I'm gonna guess these aren't the best, and a lot of the rubber on them are just dry rotted, so I thought I'd give it a go, throw some new ones on. All right, up top is just this one here, if I can get to it. Got my extra long wrench here. Got all the leverage. Let's get a little lower than that. Come on, come on. Ah, there it is. Well, of course, aftermarket parts don't fit, so this is a, you know, thin, and if you can compare it up to the shocks that Rock Auto sent me, noticeably better. But looking at it, I think it's mainly the rubber that's the biggest issue. So if I kind of just shave a little bit of it down on each side, I should be able to get this on. Okay, after a ton of back and forth, it's in, and it looks pretty good. If you guys can see, it still has plenty of rubber, so that rubber bushing will still be able to hold on just fine, but I did have to shave both sides, so, you know, it is what it is. It's just a work truck, so it's not gonna be that big of a deal, plus this thing's only ever gonna go down the street at like 45 miles an hour, so I'm not too worried about it. Now, downside is I really want to get the tie rod in so I could at least drop the truck down and see if I can get some brakes in so I could drive this thing. But unfortunately, we got to wait on parts. Plus I did order some other stuff. Like I said, I want this thing road worthy. So that's going to be it for tonight. It's getting dark and I have all of this to clean up, you know. Yeah. So when parts start coming in, I'll bring you guys back and we'll get this thing on the road finally. Okay, it is the next day and I've already kind of been out here working and sweating because it's another hot day. I went ahead and got this shock in and I also cut my fingertip while I was trying to cut the rubber, but everything's fitting up pretty good, so it should be good. It's bandaged real nice. My wife's a nurse, so it's, you know, advantages. Get home health care taken care of. Now, I just want to jump on this. I actually got the jam nuts in. So as you can see, the jam nuts are right there. And that's all it really is, just to jam it up against here so this doesn't rotate. So the plan is just to measure this out and get it as close as I can. Now, this is super bent up, so it's not even going to be close. So this is 55.5 inches across. This might not even be long enough. This is the longest one Speedway had. I think it's like at the 54 inch or something like that, or 52 inch. So I put some anti-seize thread on it. Now the goal is when you're threading these in, you want them to be, you know, same thread engagement. Now you could count threads, but I'm just gonna kind of use a measurement off there. So I got an 1 5/8 inch, 1 5/8. No, that's an inch and pretty close. This can go in one more turn. Now, since that's 55, should probably just go like 56, maybe. Yeah, that's about 56 inches. I think I'm gonna start there and then we'll just kind of manipulate it until we get it where we want it. Okay, I already went ahead through the other side in. Now I'll just get this one in. Just gotta press it up. All right, just get it nice and snug and where I can get a cotter pin through when I'm ready. I don't know if you can see that, but I should be able to get full rotation both ways. Yeah, there's a ton of room. Definitely did not need that bend in it. I have the driver's side wheel kind of straightened out. Looks good, kind of where it should be. Popping over to the passenger side. It's a little bit tilted, but it looks pretty straight. So at least I know I'm in the ballpark. I tell you what, my brain does not like left-handed threads. It just doesn't. It just feels weird to even turn it that way. I keep having to remind myself every nut. Come on. All right. Let's try that again, huh? So 64 and 7/16. 64. Oh yeah, we're towed out for sure. 60, let's go. 64 and 3/4. Okay, and then under here, so for towed out, I need to rotate it which way? This way. And no, this way, yeah. I have no idea how much, but you know, just do a little bit here, a little bit there, and retry. After several back and forths, actually, you twist that a little bit, it makes a big difference. So I have 64 and 11/16, and then 64 and like little less than 5/8. So it's in between that like 1/8 and 16ths of an inch mark. I'm gonna call that good. And if you really look at the tires, they look super straight on here. Looks pretty good there. So I'm gonna call that a win. Go ahead and lock those jam nuts down and we'll have a tie rod. Finally be able to steer this thing. Now, unfortunately, if you try to tighten them without having something to hold on to, they'll kind of clamp up on you. Clamp up, that's not what I meant. They will, it'll turn. Here we go. Come on. There we go. I also went ahead and installed the cotter pins, you know, just because if I didn't do them, I would have absolutely forgotten about that. So that's already done, which means the front end is done, which is nice. I can finally put this thing down and start on the back. I do want to cut a couple things on the back, but finally that's that much closer to getting this thing back on the road, because after that, I'm just going to mess around the master cylinder, finally take this thing for a drive. Well, I'm quickly realizing I think I'm kind of in over my head on this one. Not on the fact that I don't think I can tackle it. It's just I don't have the tools for this. So you got the big nut in here, and there's like, I've seen it, you can pull this thing all the way out and it's like a big socket that fits on here. I've seen that before. Some people even try to hammer it out, which is probably what happened right there. But then you got to try to hammer it back on and it just messes stuff up. So I don't want to do any of that, although it looks really, really clean inside. Now this was RTV'd with the paper gasket, so I think I'm just gonna clean off the paper gasket and RTV it back on. At least for now, if I can, you know, get that back where it needs to be. And I also was under here and kind of just taking a look around and realizing, yeah, there are no rear shocks, like none. This day was definitely a work truck, and it didn't drive very well at all. So that's fine. I'll just have to leave that. That's one less thing I have to worry about. But check out the wiring. It's still just as nice back here, man. And here's the dump bed cylinders. So they go here. They got the pivot point right there, which definitely could take some oil or grease. And everything else looks pretty good. We'll have to check the diff, but this is that hose I replaced. Now the downside is I am kind of worried about this leaking, but we'll try to bleed these out and see what happens. I just don't have the stuff for that right now. I'll try to get that in order, but maybe we can just at least try to get front brakes. Maybe I'll crimp this off or something if these are leaking. But man, no shocks. This is gonna be a fun ride. So crawling around down here, I noticed this cable that hooks to the whole mechanism for the dump bed, which is right there. I think this is like a lock so that you can turn it on or off. And I chased that cable all the way down and it comes up inside the cab here. And that's what this thing was. Now it was stuck. You're pulling it really, really hard. Okay, there we go. It moves. So maybe that's how you turn the actual dump bed on and off. So that gives me hope that maybe that thing will work. So let's go ahead, slap some RTV back on that, slap this together, and try to see if we can have some brakes. All right, I got as much as I could off. That was a real pain. Let's just make sure we get the surface really clean. It looks like they had a RTV'd the gasket on both sides too. So gasket, RTV, you know, making it real nice to take off. All right, that should do it. I got another little squeeze out, so should go ahead and seal it up for now. Truck is back down and on the floor, and I still actually need to swap that tire on there. I got this big boy over here. Before I didn't have the other rim, so I could get that tire on there. That's actually an oddball. What needs to go on, if you don't remember from the other video, is a big fat boy right here. I do have a matching rim for it somewhere. So I got that rim and that tire over there that I need to swap in. But I'll swap that later. I actually can't take that to a regular tire shop. You have to take it to like an industrial tire shop because from what I understand, that's like skid steer size. So they don't handle that kind of tough rubber. Okay, everything is essentially ready to go. Just got to deal with the master cylinder. We can take a test drive. No, it's a nut and bolt. Who would make that design? So those are nuts and bolts and not studs like they should be. Who would design that? That cannot be factory. That is a terrible design. So I actually have to have a vice grip. I don't have a light on me. Clip to the head of the bolt. So this is one of them like that. That way I can actually wedge the vice grip in there while I come out here. There we go. Well, I finally got it out. Man, that is just a poor design. And look how rusted out the screws are. So it makes me really think that's original. That's just, yeah, that's terrible. Anyways, here's the new master cylinder. It looks to be the exact same thing, except we're good to go. And I'm actually able to take the lid off because this won't come off to save my life. Now, I already had one of those like bleeder kits from another project. So I'm just gonna use that and I'm just gonna bleed it right there on the truck. Okay, I went ahead and put new hardware in, but I just don't know how exactly I'm gonna put this on. It's got to be real gentle because I got no one to, you know, hold the bolts from the back. So this is a poor design. Let me crawl up on here. This is gonna be fun. And that's all of them. I've managed to pretty much knock them all back in. I think I got a solution. I figured out some wizardry here. So I have a vice grip holding up the master cylinder, and I think I can fit bolts through that way. Haha, success. See? Now, this is probably intended for people with friends, but you know, I don't have those, so. Now the only downside is all I could find were nylon lock nuts for new hardware, and that's a lot harder to put on. So hopefully the vice grips hold. Nice. Now I'm just gonna top it off, and I shouldn't need to put a ton in it since I'm just gonna be cycling it back in. Man, I gotta clean this thing out and just start jamming. Probably should go a little lighter. Let's see if I get all the air bubbles out. All the way to the floor. Okay, I've been at it for a while and I think I got most of the air out, and I've just been going till I actually get a little bit of pedal feel. So now what I need to do is, where is it? Swap over this banjo fitting that was on the end of here so that I can put the brake line back in and we should be good to go. Man, that thing fought me so bad. That fitting did not want to go back in, but everything is hooked up and ready to go. So I can finally start bleeding some brakes. I can take this little piece off here. Let's go ahead and top off the master cylinder. Oh, and spill everything everywhere. Come on, there we go. So finally on the bleeding brakes, see if I can get actually brakes running, and then I suckered my wife into coming out here and actually pushing the pedal for me while I go around and hit all the bleeders. Say hi, Gabby. Oh yeah, and you got little Pepper too. Hi, Pepper. Come here. She's like, what do you want? Okay, so I'm gonna start in the back, obviously furthest from the master cylinder, so I'll hit the back and see if any will get any fluid. Okay, down. Let's see. Oh, getting air, that's good. Okay, down. Come on, there. Is that fluid? Ooh, yeah, we tripped a lot out. All right, getting fluid back here at least. Down. Okay, I bled all the brakes, but now I have way too firm of a pedal. My wife's already went inside too. As soon as her job is done, she's like, I'm out of here. She does not like being in front of the camera. But yeah, now I have too firm of a pedal. I'm hoping that maybe the pads are just expanded out, and maybe when I get rolling, it'll loosen back up again, but I think it's probably another problem. This rubber line over here that actually comes down here looks super old, and it might be swelling up on me. So my idea was, you know, let's go ahead and start the truck and rock it back and forth and, you know, see if I can stop it. But I have somehow lost all electrical. I have no idea what's going on. I came in here and I had the key up there. I've taken it out to sea, but it won't here. It's not doing the thing. And also we had lights before, but now there's no lights. I must have, when I was moving stuff up underneath the dash over here, kind of jiggled something up. Now the downside is I'm losing light super fast, so I don't have enough time to diagnose this and get this thing on the road, especially if I don't end up with lights. So this is gonna have to wait till tomorrow, so I'll see you guys in the morning. Well, it is the next day. It's actually kind of late in the day, as you guys can tell. I had a ton of stuff to do, unfortunately, but one of the things I did get done was I got a title for this thing. So it is tagged, titled, and licensed, so we can get this thing back on the road. Also, I did come in here and diagnose the electrical issue. I tore apart the dash. I searched it everywhere. It ended up just being something super simple. So over here, this is the power line coming in, feeding the rest of the harness. Everything was just corroded there, so I went ahead and just took it all off and wire wheeled it. Hit it with like a brush on it, and it's all good now. So we have power back. As you'll see if we pull the lights. Let's check it out. It has headlights. There and there. And also I went ahead and threw in a permanent ground wire. So just there, and then I went ahead and just self-tapered it in. So it is ready to go. Big downside is I do not have taillights. I tried to get these working. I thought at least I could get this one going, but that's shot too, and this one, as you can see, is actually pretty blown out. And then I went ahead and pulled the engine out of there so I can try to test the dump bed. So this is a 302, another 302 like I have in the 53, but this is like a parts engine. Actually, I want to see if I can get this thing fired up. It's a later model, but as you can see right here, a 302. But I put it on a furniture dolly. It's supposed to be able to hold 1,000 pounds. Yeah, that thing broke instantly. At least it's sitting there and out of the bed. So let's test the dump bed and take this thing for a drive. Although without taillights, I don't know why I can't talk right now. Without taillights, I don't know how much I actually want to drive this thing. I got kids up here actually running their dirt bikes around. They love using these dirt fields back here. But we'll see what we can do. Either way, I'm gonna be driving this thing right now. Okay, I can finally start this thing from the inside. I probably should have cleaned the windshield. Fires right up. Now I'm worried that this thing isn't gonna actually, this steering wheel isn't straight. So the goal is clutch in. I'm gonna pull this out. Well, let's just see without doing if it does anything. Put the clutch out. Nothing. Okay. If I clutch in, shift it, come on. What about now? There's a change, got a bit of noise. No movement. Alright, let's disengage it. Unfortunately, I think it's just either out of hydraulic fluid. I haven't been able to check it. Truthfully, I don't know a ton about this PTO style dump bed. So I gotta do a little bit of research. If you guys do know, drop some comments down below. I am gonna get this thing working, whether I gotta brace lines, pull some stuff, fix some stuff, reseal it. I definitely want this dump bed operational. I've been tired all day. That's how you know I start stumbling. But what we can do is finally take this thing for a drive. Okay, let's finally actually drive this thing. And I haven't tested the brakes yet, but you know, no better way to test it than, you know, in a real world application. Which way are the tires? I guess we're gonna find out. So, come on. Reverse. Oh, I can't see out of this at all. Oh yeah, brakes. Nice. They brake really well. Okay, I should probably pay attention to what I'm doing. I really should have cleaned some windows. Can't see anything. It's actually pretty bad. Okay, let me clean a window. Okay, I kind of cleaned the window. By clean it, I just wiped it with my hand, but I can see better now. Okay. First gear. Oh, grind it till you find it. This thing's awesome. Put some headlights on. Downhill. Let's hope the brakes are good, huh? That is a granny low. I might even be able to start second. There it is. Okay, third. Come on, find it. There it is. Woo! Chains are dragging. I need to get back. Ten-point turn. Yeah. Come on. Man, this clutch is not great. Wonder if it's that. There it is. second. There we go. That granny low is, you could easily just drive around in that. Ready for third already. There's third. There we go. Well, that was a quick test drive, but this was the chain. I went ahead and took it off. Where'd it go? It was dragging. That was gonna get us nowhere. So it's all gone now. It was dragging right there. But as I was banging around, check what choker came on. So now we got taillights. Taillights, headlights, tag tied on unlicensed. Let's try to push this thing to the gas station. I've been driving a manual in a while, if you can't tell. But I am loving this truck. Temp's staying pretty cool. I'll show you guys in a little bit. Just gonna scoot down here. There's a gas station down the street. See if we can make it. Or it's already out of gas. No, don't be out of gas. Oh, we might be. Oh. Oh, well, that was a good drive. Really? Oh yeah, we're out of gas. Made it back from our very, very short test drive, but at least it runs, drives, and stops. I would just go get gas right now, but it's literally about to be dark in about 10 minutes. So, and then I don't actually have brake light. I have backlights, but not brake lights. And I don't have blinkers, so it's not really safe to put on the road at night, and I don't want to be out there putting other drivers at risk. It did stay cool though. As I was on the way back, the thermostat opened up and the temp dropped, so that's really nice. Thermostat works, and I've even checked that. It steers now, it stops. It is roadworthy. I just need to fix some of the electrical gremlins. The blinkers don't work, so I think I need to get a new flasher for that. Also, this window is broken out, so I do need to replace that. There's some cosmetic stuff. I want to get some of the rust painted up. There's a couple things that I still want to do before this thing is roadworthy. Oh, and a gas cap, which is why I think I ran out of gas. This has been sitting for about a day and a half since the last video. And I'm guessing without a gas cap, and I only put like 2.5 gallons in, that, you know, we ran out of gas pretty quick on me. So there's a couple things I want to do. I want to get the blue paint off the windshield, lights, electrical, all kinds of stuff, cosmetic, just the last little bit to really put this thing on the road. Oh yeah, and matching tires. So a bunch of little stuff, but I think I'm gonna get it there. So there's gonna be another video on that, guys, but I really got where I wanted to. I just want to get this thing driving and stopping and on the road. I'm bummed about the dump bed, but that's how this thing kind of works sometimes. I definitely did not get as much done as I wanted, but that's just how it goes sometimes. At least it's running, driving, stopping, steering, all the stuff it wasn't doing before, and I can turn it off the key, which is a huge win. It's like an operational vehicle. Bunch of cosmetic stuff. I already have that window. I'll replace it in the next video. We'll get all the lights going, a little bit of minor stuff, and touch it up so it's truly a roadworthy vehicle in the next video. So if you do like this, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you can see this thing fully on the road again. And I'm really sorry for the slow kind of content. I'm not getting as many hours every once. I told you guys I have a full-time job and I started my own business, and it just takes a lot of time, but I'm out here doing my passion, which is YouTube, having you guys along with me. I hope you guys appreciate it. So again, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. And remember, if I can do any of this, so can you. I'll catch you guys on the next one.